to talk about doing like a group project. And in the past, when I had to do a group project in school, I hated it.
Same here.
Did you?
Yeah, but I came to figure it like it.
Okay.
Because I got to work with these two.
Okay. So you had a pretty good group going, right?
Not at first.
Well, I mean,
first it would be me getting sent out to class. Then it'll be...
Seriously?
Yeah.
Huh. Why would you get sent out of class?
Because I finished before all of them, and then I get sent right back out of class.
Because you were acting up, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Even though my grades were in time, I'll get right back out of
Okay.
class.
Huh. Well, what kind of things did you work on? What kind of group project?
At first, we were in social studies. We were working about like Native American stuff,
Okay.
and then and now this year we're learning about the nuns, and we're like in separate little groups, and they're I forgot.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What?
Before we do this, is it weird being?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Only, I would say the weirdest thing for me is that Mr. Manager was just standing there like, just like this. Yeah, y'all better be saying something. It's like, you took me the phone. I can't speak.
Well, why don't we turn around and say hi to the camera?
Hi.
What
Hi.
What's up? I don't know if it helps or not. But anyway,
Face the screen.
like, did you ever do a report on states? Did you ever do a state report, like pick a state, and you had
Yeah.
to make a report on it? What was that like?
It was fun.
Was it fun?
It was
Yeah.
boring.
Okay, it was
For
boring.
you, it was.
Usually,
Because I didn't have
for me it was
so
boring.
much information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it was easy because I
And
went to
then-
the state.
I
I went to-
You couldn't find
I went
too
right
much?
up to Michigan. I did Michigan.
I wouldn't write about Texas.
You wouldn't write about Texas?
I would.
She would.
You would write about Texas?
I would.
Same.
What's interesting about Texas to you?
Because that's like I feel like
Heat and
that's where
humid.
that's where I
She
belong.
cussed.
Yeah.
And like I feel like I belong there, but actually don't. That's my home.
Do you find, well, like, what's one interesting thing about Texas?
Like I said.
That they're. I don't know. I just like it because.
You
my
like the
family
trucks,
lives-
don't you?
Yes, the trucks, the monster trucks. That's what I always come for.
The trucks?
Yeah.
Yes,
monster
in
trucks.
Texas, they
It's
have
like-
they have trucks like our national gigantic Chevy trucks that we drive,
Yeah.
like the little short trucks, but theirs got fatter wheels and it's a little bit taller.
That's what. That's I bought one from Texas. We still have the sign from Texas.
Really?
I see that
I
truck.
guess you use picture.
Okay.
It's a nice truck.
Okay. Usually, like, when I had to do a state, like, I think I did, what was it?
So that's what we're gonna do
It was
today in this
Georgia.
gigantic book here.
And you learn we learn the population, and you learn this, and you learn that, and you learn all the things that you're
Yes.
supposed to do, you know? And when you got done with it, it wasn't all that interesting to me, you know? If I had been told, for example, that Stone Mountain is in Georgia, and Stone Mountain is the largest granite outcrop in the world, right? It's just one big old piece of rock, okay? And they used to burn...
Where they have the presidents? Or
No, that's in South Dakota. That's in South Dakota.
That's like the cleaner part.
So is
Oh.
it?
And what was really interesting was, and you could see it's about 25 miles east of Atlanta, okay? And what was most interesting to me when I found out when I lived there was that they used to burn crosses, KKK crosses, off of Stone Mountain. And they used to face Atlanta, you know, so they'd get these big old crosses and they'd burn them.
Wasn't Atlanta back in the days like the church, like Christian, like black state, no offense.
A black state?
Yeah. Like,
Well, no, I mean, there were white people and black people there too.
yeah.
But I mean, that was what was interesting about that state. And it made it interesting because I would check it out.
Yeah, I know you
People
had
would tell me
recorded, right?
things.
I know.
Listen, people would tell me things, or I would just find out interesting. The most interesting things I found out were things I had a question about. You know, so like
What was
my,
that question?
huh?
What was the question?
Depends on what the question was. Like, you know, then I would ask questions about the KKK and what kinds
What
of
is the PKK?
the Ku Klux Klan, and
Oh,
they
that was
would,
like the biggest racial group.
they had white sheets
Oh,
and they had
yeah,
a white
yeah.
pointed hat,
Yeah.
and they would
Yeah,
go
right,
around
right.
lynching people. You know, mainly black people. No, it was,
And then they'll kill him.
Forrest
Or they
Gump
set
was
him
named
free.
after his uncle. Because his uncle was one of them.
one of them. Yeah. So anyway, what this is about, what mini inquiry is about you finding something interesting because you've got a question to ask about it. You know. So I'm not a big tech person, as you can tell. You know that, right? I'm not really big. like I can barely operate my phone. But what I love,
It should be easy.
what I love is the computer, because I'm a real curious person. I always have questions about things, and my wife is curious too. And so we'll be watching something, and we'll say, how old is that woman? You know? And it's so cool. You can look it up on the internet. Bang, and you got the answer right there. You know what I mean?
How old is the person you're looking for?
Well, like we were looking at a movie about the movie
Harry
Wild,
Uh-huh.
and Reese Witherspoon is the actress in that. You know, and I just wonder how old she is. And it's still in the back of my head. I have to go home and figure it out. I have to go and look it up because it tells you. Bang,
I think
right
she
away.
in like in her mid-40s.
It's okay with her 30s.
I don't think she's that old, but I don't know. It's a good
She's probably
question.
in her 30s.
Mid-30s, late 30s going on in the 40s.
So what you do with the mini inquiry is that you have a group, and you have a question about something, and you try to figure out what the answer is. Okay, so it could be like a little teeny thing, like what do snails eat, you know, or it could be something a little bit bigger, you know. And so what I did was I copied something, and then I lost it. So I was going to read you just a couple of qualities that you're supposed to have for being in a mini inquiry. So like 3 students together, you guys know each other, you guys get along well, you know, and you guys go back and forth really well. But often you're not friends, you know. So like
that seems so messed up.
what?
You just said we're not friends.
And we,
No, it'd be like
we
if-
like hang out with each
Like,
other
and
every day.
you just say we know each other.
Yeah, what I'm saying is though, usually in a classroom setting, you're stuck with this guy who farts, you know what I mean, or something, or
My boy.
somebody who picks his nose, or just somebody that you're not friends with. Is basically what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
I'm not in the same name.
So
Mr.W.
No.
the thing is though,
Compare siblings.
the thing is that that's life. The guy who picks his nose is the guy you probably might wind up working with. Although by then he's not picking his nose. Then he's an adult.
Thank God.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to learn to get along with more people than just you guys. You got to learn to get along with all kinds of people. I'm in the school. I've just started in September. And I'm getting along with all kinds of people. Some are
Next
like
you
me.
know, he meets us.
Some are, well, yeah, you guys are homies, so, but I mean, I'm talking about teachers, I'm talking about, people that you might not have the same ideas about or anything,
Yeah, for sure.
So you gotta learn how to get along, you have to learn how to figure out how to go from here to here, right? So one thing is that you have to be responsible in the group. So you would say things like, does everyone have their articles? Like if you're gonna have to look up articles to be able to figure out what your question is, So you might take an article, you might take an article, you might take an article, and you have to look through it for the information, So you would not say, what? Were we supposed to do that today?
What was he?
Huh? Or
That's my name. You said this, huh?
or Mr. W. Liz keeps messing around, Liz keeps talking about somebody
Okay.
like that. Be respectful.
That's
Another
good.
thing is
That's
that-
good.
Another thing is that you need to listen when somebody else has an idea about things. Because it is really cool when things get going and you have an idea and they have an idea and you're all kind of interested in the same thing. Like what happened, Show me, give me an example of sitting up and listening. Like you guys are listening really well now. So you could sit up and listen. I don't usually sit up that way. I usually kind of lean back like this.
This is what I'm
But the way you're supposed to do it is to be
Yeah.
like this, right?
Back straight.
And slant.
This is how they've been teaching us since,
Let's see.
look, see, since we were practically in kindergarten.
Yeah.
For me,
Just
they
slant.
taught me just to sit up, do like this, and pay attention to
Or
the speaker.
like this.
Huh.
No, they never told me to smile. They just said, look at the
No,
teacher.
just like that. Like, no, don't smile. Just put your hands on your lap.
Now we're all sitting like this, but we're still listening.
But it doesn't matter, because I know you guys are all listening. All 3 of you are listening. Even if you're slouching a little bit or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Me.
They want you to speak up. I mean, that's the idea of mini inquiry is just to sit back and let everybody else do the work, So you could say, you know what you just said reminded me of this, and you come up with a story that was relevant. I'm not talking about your granny's baldness or something.
Brandy, why you bald?
So you wouldn't be silent, or you wouldn't be whispering to her while she's trying to make a point. You know what I mean? So,
Wouldn't it be the opposite?
huh?
Wouldn't it be the opposite?
Well, I mean, if she's trying to answer the group, and all of a sudden you start whispering something to her,
That's the opposite.
how's that the opposite?
You
She
don't
does
pay-
it when I literally, she does it all the time. Every time
You
she
don't
does
pay
it, she's like,
attention.
I'm like, and I'm trying to talk here.
Yeah. Well, like
You should
that.
be like, hey. You like, Yeah, it isn't.
Like Liz.
What would be one way you could encourage somebody else to speak more? Like if Liz said something, it's like one sentence. What could you say to her to get her to talk more? Would you say, "What in the hell are you talking about?"
That would have been you.
That would have been me.
Yeah, that would be you.
Well, you could say, can you say a little more about that? You know, like what do you
Are you
like? What do you
shy?
mean? I'm interested. You know, like what does that person do then? You know, it's just that so she's obviously thought something through, and so that you want to kind of drag it out of her. You want to pull it out of her a little bit. You got her to say something because she's got. We're being photographed. What you need, hon?
He wants tissues.
Tissues?
Why don't you go into the paper?
Here.
It's only a company.
Hold on.
And we have that on TV.
Okay, so you could say, that's a good idea. I like that. You know, what wouldn't you say?
Shut up.
Shut up. What else?
Don't speak again.
Um,
Or just ignore her.
I don't get you.
I don't get you. So instead of asking the question, you go, I don't get you. Or you could say, that's boring. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Or I give up.
That kind of, yeah, or I give up.
care.
I don't care. So that's not what you do. Anyway, all right, we're getting there with this, right? You want to be able to back up what you're saying. So you want to think through it. So Curtis's word is always sure. So you wouldn't say, so what do you mean by that? And you wouldn't go, sure, or whatever. I mean, you try to back up with what you're saying, right? Okay.
What is my word, Mr.W?
It was last
What's
year.
my word?
What's my word?
What's your word?
Yeah.
I don't know. What is this word?
I don't know. I haven't heard you that much. Last year
I don't know. What's your word?
What was my last year word, Shirley?
I don't remember. Mine was whatever. Remember? I said whatever to
Last year.
everything.
Whatever.
Like, if you're talking to Shirley and you say you give up, she's gonna be like,
Whatever.
Okay.
And I was sit to just be just like this, just like, I'm going on this one.
I have been in a lot of situations in my life where I'm in a place where I'm disagreeing with somebody.
Your wife.
My wife, no, not my.
Kids.
Well, my wife sometimes, but more like I had an environmental group that I started, and I would get into it all the time with the people that didn't like what I was doing. People I would be trying to protect animals, and other people wouldn't be, and
Is it because they're black?
Contracts.
no, not because they're not 'cause they're-
Really?
That's a whole different thing. But
Oh my
but I would
God.
have to listen to what the person said and say, okay, well, I can see what you're saying, but so you can kind of say what that person is saying something okay, but you got a different take on it. You know what I mean? So you don't have to be rude. You wouldn't say that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life.
So like, let's say you said I said all pandas are the cutest thing, and you disagreed with me, but I think they're still cute. Like,
Yeah,
what's the point of it?
yeah. So I can see what I could see.
Or go, like if that does happen, or you can go like straight to the facts and see.
To disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could say, yeah, I see it this way because of this and this and this. It's kind of hard to argue with stuff like that, isn't it? So anyway, you wouldn't say, where do you get that idea or something like that. Okay. Anyway, so you get the idea. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I think we're supposed to do, but we're not going to finish it today because we only have 20 minutes left. What we're going to start with is we're going to talk about, I'd like you to kind of come up with a question just for practice here. The book that we're going to work on is called Bud Not Buddy. And it's a book about a boy.
No.
Did you read that book?
Yes, and I seen.
There is no book.
When I read the book.
You're thinking of a different book.
No,
Probably
but
not.
not buddy.
Yeah, what's it about?
I'm not telling you. Because it was a long, long time ago.
Because then you never read it then.
No, I read that book. Because when he said but not buddy, ain't no way I'm just going to go like this and then say something totally different. I read that book at a different school.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying.
So my question is this, for one thing, did you read the book or was the book read by the teacher?
It was like a group, like what we're doing here.
Yeah.
But we, like everybody left off at different sections.
Like Miss Hoffman last
Yeah.
year?
Like when I was working at that school, and I went to that school,
Mhm.
Like, alright, so my teacher would be like, alright, so here's the book, but not buddy, yada yada yada. Read it. So we'll get in our little groups. So like she assigned us reading groups. Some groups will read ahead. Some groups will be kind of like behind. Some groups were in the middle.
Oh.
My group was in the like closer to the head group because each person would take one chapter. I'll take a chapter. The next person will take a chapter.
Okay. So would you talk about the book then?
Yeah.
Okay.
We all had to write we had questions about it and stuff, and then we had to everybody who she said write an opinion with your group or a little summary.
Mm-hmm.
So we all said,
Okay.
and then one person would just put it all on paper, but that person would try to work it into
Okay. So can you tell them what's about the book?
I'm telling the truth. I really-
You don't remember the book?
I
Okay.
don't remember the book, but the work we did, yeah, it was fun.
Okay. So the book is about a boy during the Great Depression, and he was black, and he was an orphan, and he
You're so racist. That was messed up.
he
That was messed up.
he's trying to find a home. Okay. But in the meantime, he is on the loose. Okay.
So he's on his own.
He's on his own.
Wait. Show me the. I was going to say, show me the cover.
Okay, I will in a minute. But the Great Depression was something that happened in the 1920s, right at the end of the 1920s. Before
I think we should show that. Oh yeah, I have read that book.
Huh?
I have read that book.
You read the book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I can tell you guys something about it. Cause that book is good.
Okay. So here's the cover.
Alright. So.
Somebody apparently didn't like the book.
Yeah. So
What happened?
magic.
So I thought we could do a little mini inquiry about something in the book. And what I thought was most interesting to me, because it's a pretty big subject, is it's about the Depression. So I just wanted to tell you a few things about the Depression.
It's about a break too.
First thing I want to point out is that I was not around then.
For real?
For real.
Wait, what?
I wasn't alive during the Depression.
Mr. Gino was.
Mr. Gino was not either.
How?
Nobody in this building was alive then.
Mr.
In order for me to be alive, I would have to be like 80 some years old.
Alright.
How old is this day now?
Like 60.
She's not that old.
Oh.
She's
I don't know. She's probably my age.
She looks young.
Talking about.
Anyway.
Oh.
Anyway, what I want to point out was this. During the 1920s, America was at peace, right? World War I had happened during, we were in war in 1917, 1918.
Well, why did we jump into the war?
Huh?
Why did America jump into the war?
Well, we wanted to stay away from it. We wanted to stay off to our own. But finally had to get into it, you know?
Well, wasn't that because of the Pearl Harbor attack?
No, that was World War II. That was the Second War.
Alright.
So the Depression happened in between the First World War and the Second World War. And America came out pretty good during that war. After that war, we had a lot of money here. We had a lot of money. Technology was booming. All these inventions were being created. And not TV.
When we was born.
Not TV, but I mean, machinery was going. America was at the top of the world.
Phone,
At the top of the world.
computer.
Not computers.
Oh.
Phones, yeah, we had
Phones, like old-timey phones. Okay.
Like
tiny phones.
Old-timey phones. Old-time phones.
the ones that use circles.
It was probably before that, actually. It was the
It
time
had
to
like
crank. You crank it, and you would get an
Oh.
operator.
Hello, operator.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to this person. All right, sure. Yeah. Next thing you know, click. Yeah.
And so even though you'd think that the technology was bad.
Oh my gosh.
Really, Chewy?
Stop, Chewy!
Grab a pencil over there.
Hi.
Is that really recording us?
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, listen. We only got about
Wait,
10 more
wait.
minutes on this. Did you move it?
Yes.
Yes.
Shui, which way did you move it?
Left.
Okay, whatever it was. I think that's the sound anyway.
Hey, Joey!
Hey, Troy, put them back up in.
Blanco.
Anyway, so listen up. So people had a lot of money back then. And more than that, they had a lot of money. They had credit, like a credit card, okay? So but they didn't have credit cards, but they would buy things on credit, you know? So
Oh.
Shirley comes in, she says, oh, I like that jacket. I like that jacket a lot.
No, Joe.
And, you know, I kind of know that you bought things here before. You know, I'll say, you know what? I'm going to let you buy it and pay for it, you know, like a little bit at a time. You know, take it home. Okay? Hey, Curtis. Curtis.
Tell him I returned the.
What? What book?
This one.
Okay. All right.
The best he said.
You gonna put that on YouTube?
Oh.
No. Anyway, so so you buy a lot of stuff, and all of a sudden you owe a lot of money. You owe a lot of money. Morris, who's the store owner, says it's okay because I know she's got a job, you know,
That's all I'm happy about.
and it's all opened up again. Okay, could be Mr. Minus. Could you open the door?
Yep.
It is Mr. Minus.
Okay. And so you're the store owner, and you know she's good for it. Okay. So you're gonna let her buy it, even though she really doesn't have a lot of money to put down on it. You know. So she buys something, and she's worth something in a way. She's worth a lot because she has the stuff, but she isn't really because she owes a lot of money. Okay. But in the meantime, people say that it's worth it. It's worth it to do this because you know what? He's eventually gonna get his money out of you, and he's gonna be even richer, you know. And so what happens is everybody's buying, and it's. Do you know what a house of cards is?
Oh yeah.
What's a house of cards? I'm losing you, aren't
Maybe not.
I? Hey, focus a little bit more.
I don't know what a house of cards are.
You what?
Take it later.
I
Okay.
switched the books.
Okay. Anyway, so it was all built on things that were kind of imaginary. All right. Everybody had all this great money, but it was only on paper. It wasn't real. And so when something went wrong in the world, when all of a sudden steel production was down, all of a sudden people weren't buying quite as much as they were, you know, all of a sudden people started panicking, you know. And on October 24th, 1929, the stock market crashed. The stock market is a way of keeping track of how much money you've got invested in different companies.
So
okay?
like you said, I'm the store owner Shirley, and she got a job but still up. But hey, stock market crash. That means don't that mean kind of means that you lose money?
Mm-hmm.
Like how much?
The money in the stock market went way down, you know, way down. So a stock, an ownership in the company that was worth $38 in 1919 was worth 10 times that much. So to be like 10 years later. So if you were making $16 today, you would be making $160 10 years from now, all right, an hour. I mean, that's a huge jump.
So like.
And it was built on all this wealth.
So when we're like 20, so we're gonna get paid more, like
More than usual.
more than our parents pay.
Oh yeah, a lot more. And the economy is okay with that because they thought the economy goes, well, you know what, you're good for it. But, so let's say you work for a steel company and all of a sudden people aren't buying as
What
much
is that?
steel. Steel is like iron,
Oh,
you know, that you would use in cars and stuff like that.
Minneapolis.
Listen, so all of a sudden you kind of lose your job and now you can't pay him. And a few other people lose their job that he gave things to, all right? And said, you know, you'll pay me, I know you will.
Instead lost money.
So all of a sudden there's a problem. When the stock market hit, there were a lot of rich people in this country, a lot of them, okay? And a lot of rich people lost a lot of money. Poor people always had it poor, but they had it worse. I mean, when the stock market crashed, they had it a lot worse. But rich people couldn't handle it. Poor people were used to being poor, you know? I mean, they were barely on the edge. But rich people, the set of expectations that they had was that, you know what, I'm doing anything I want. I want to take a trip to Paris, I can take a trip to Paris. You know, I want to do this, I can do this. So I want another car, I'll get another car.
Like our class, like, cause we're all mid class.
Yeah.
Like we can afford stuff, and some days we can't afford stuff. Like Beats, like
Like Beats?
like when it's Black Friday, it's half off,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not that expensive.
Okay.
But you
But-
gotta think about it.
If you really think about it, they're gonna break them on.
Fast.
Two, if you have little kids, they go through your stuff and
Rip it.
they rape it, and yeah.
Right. Right.
I
Sure.
thought you said rape.
I said rape it.
I thought you said
I
rape.
like rape.
He's like, rape it.
So, so all of a sudden things started going bad, and they went bad for everybody, everybody. But there were rich people that were jumping out of buildings, out of skyscrapers, because they couldn't stand to live.
Suicide?
The idea of being poor, they couldn't stand. Several people jumped.
Suicide?
Suicide. Several people jumped out of buildings.
Now they know what it feels like to be poor.
And, well, they didn't like it one bit.
God.
You know, their hopes and dreams were dashed. Their mansions were gone.
Yeah,
You know?
why you think us, like, no offense to the poor people out there, watch they become richer than the rich people, and watch the rich people be like, let me get experience change. Yeah, you wish you didn't experience no change for me when I asked you.
So mini inquiry is kind of taking a question that's something you're curious about and kind of just doing a little research on it. Trying to figure out what was the answer. So it could be something real specific.
So that's what this kind of inquiry close in action.
Yeah, right. So I think maybe on Thursday, because we're not going to have time to really get started with this now, we'll come up with a question. But one idea would be that I thought of was, this is about a black boy, and I was thinking, my question was, how did black people do during the Depression?
Great Depression.
Is it 'cause you're black?
Oh.
Is it because you're black?
No, I'm not gonna say that.
Okay.
Is it because I'm black?
But I mean, the question, what I'm wondering is like when bad things happen, they happen worse to poor people. And of the poor people, blacks are very poor, you know?
So now, since you gave me a kind of question, I can go ask my grandma who's almost 70-something years old now. That's so mean.
If you were going to take something like that, if you were going to like look at like what was the effect of the Depression on black people, like what could you ask about?
Like for me, I can ask my grandma, what was it like to live in the Great Depression? Was it?
Trouble is, we got people coming in a couple of minutes anyway, so just whenever you want.